What is the origin of life? Among all the countless life forms that have ever existed on Earth, there must have been a very first organism. That organism must have contained the first cell, which in turn was made of organic molecules. But where did those organic molecules come from in the first place? About 4 billion years ago, early Earth was filled with nothing but inorganic matter. This means that organic molecules, the very seeds of life, must have somehow emerged from these non-living materials. The transition from inorganic to organic matter marked the first crucial step toward understanding the origin of life. To answer this question, scientists have proposed countless hypotheses. In the 1950s, Stanley Miller, a graduate student at the University of Chicago, and his advisor Harold Urey prepared a special flask to test their hypothesis. They added water to simulate the primitive ocean, gases like methane, hydrogen, and ammonia to represent the early atmosphere, and applied electric sparks at regular intervals to mimic lightning. After a week, the liquid inside the flask had turned into a murky reddish color. Tests revealed the presence of 11 different amino acids, including glycine and alanine. It was a groundbreaking discovery, the first time the missing link between inorganic and organic matter had been revealed. For this achievement, Miller received the Operin Medal and was even nominated for the Nobel Prize. Since then, many researchers have repeated similar experiments under a variety of conditions and consistently produced similar results. But there was a critical weakness in the experiment: lightning. Unlike the continuous sparks applied inside the flask, lightning is actually a rare phenomenon on a global scale. Meanwhile, the ocean was vast and deep. Could such a sporadic and localized energy source really have produced enough organic material? Something was missing. A more continuous and widespread energy source was needed. Scientists went on to conduct various experiments under more realistic conditions. And finally, a recent experiment revealed a surprising possibility. In 2025, a research team led by Professor Richard Zare at Stanford University announced a fascinating experimental result. They found that simply spraying water in fine droplets could naturally generate electrical discharges. When water is broken into tiny droplets and dispersed into the air, the larger ones carry a positive charge, while the smaller ones carry a negative charge. As these oppositely charged droplets come close to each other, a discharge occurs, producing light, like a tiny, miniature lightning bolt. The team called this phenomenon micro-lightning. What's remarkable is that this micro-lightning occurs naturally, without any external voltage or special energy source. Even more important is that these tiny lightning discharges ionize nearby gases and trigger chemical reactions. The research team sprayed pure water at room temperature into a gas mixture of nitrogen, methane, carbon dioxide, and ammonia, similar to the conditions in the Miller experiment. As a result, they observed the formation of organic compounds essential to life, including glycine, urea, hydrogen cyanide, and uracil. Astonishingly, all of these reactions occurred within just 200 microseconds. It was an extraordinary outcome, achieved under realistic and simple conditions. This carries significant implications because microlightning is an extremely common phenomenon. The spray from crashing waves, the mist beneath waterfalls, even the tiny droplets stirred up by falling rain. All of these ordinary, everyday events, happening constantly around the world, could be producing tiny bolts of lightning that serve as the very seeds of life. We've always believed that the origin of life was an extraordinary event. When we look out at the vast universe and back at our own planet, it certainly doesn't seem like something that happens often. But maybe, from the very moment Earth was born, the emergence of life was a natural consequence. Perhaps many of the things we see as miracles are really just ordinary processes, gradually unfolding over time until they became inevitable.